All right, certification of executive session. Whereas the Tazewell Town Council is convening an executive session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas 2.1-344.1 of the Code of Virginia requires certification by this council that such executive session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved, the Tazewell Town Council hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the executive session to which the certification resolution applies. And two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the executive session were heard, discussed, or considered by the Tazewell Town Council. So I need a roll call vote to certify. So we'll start on the end. Councilmember Hankins. Aye. Councilmember Klein. Aye. Councilmember Fox. Aye. Councilmember Davis. Aye. Councilmember Beasley. Aye. Okay, we're now out of executive session. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day and all that you have done for us. Thank you for bringing us into a wonderful holiday season approaching ahead of us. And we ask that you'll please be with each person and each family that's represented here. And please be with this council tonight as they make decisions that would best affect their town and make the best decisions that they possibly could. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. So first on our special presentation request, we have the swearing in of myself, Councilmember Beasley, Councilmember Fox, and Councilmember Willis by Tazewell County Clerk of Courts, Ms. Terry Hurst. So I think we typically do it there. So
all of us.
You want to do it all at once or
all at once.
individual?
I
I can do all the
All the
council
council
members at
members.
once and yours. So how do we separate? If you would, like, raise your right hand. Now I'm going to say I, and then each of you say your individual names, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay. I.
Danny Williams.
Couldn't hear you. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Code of the Town of Tazewell,
and the Code of the Town of Tazewell,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a member of the Town of Tazewell Town Council
as a member of the Town of Tazewell Town Council
for a term commencing January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2028.
for a term commencing January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st of 2028.
Or until replaced pursuant to a special election if necessary.
Or until replaced pursuant to a special election if necessary.
As per the order of the Tazewell County Circuit Court Clerk.
As per the order of the Tazewell County Circuit Clerk.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, I just need to see Is that a blue ink? We signed in blue.
Yeah,
Blue.
I've got it. Yes, sir.
Say that again.
to say that is well said.
I told them y'all should have rehearsed last night.
Pursuant.
Can you chop mine up?
No. I know,
All in
I'll
one.
try.
All in one.
I was trying to find a good stopping place. Raise your right hand. I, Michael F. Hoops,
I, Michael F. Hoops,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Code of the Town of Tazewell,
and the Code of the Town of Tazewell,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as mayor of the Town of Tazewell
as mayor of the Town of Tazewell
for a term commencing
for a term commencing
January 1st, 2025,
January 1st, 2025,
and ending
and ending
December 31st, 2026,
December 31st, 2026,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I need to go.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please.
Sing lots of
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Okay, moving right along. So, next on our special presentation request, the Imagination Library Program, Tazewell County Program Library Executive Director, Erica Holloway.
Hi, y'all. I'm Erica. I think most of you already know me. Hi, I'm Erica. I'm the director of Tazewell County Library, and I've got with me Miss Lisa, who is the Youth Services Librarian for Tazewell County Public Library. So I want to talk to you about getting Dolly Parton's Imagination Library going in Tazewell County. So if you look at a map of where Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is offered in the state of Virginia, all of Southwest Virginia is covered except for Tazewell County and Bland County. And I want to change that. So first of all, we can start with what is Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. So it was started in 1995 to serve her home area down in Tennessee. But obviously it's expanded to all across the country since then. It's expanded to the UK, to Australia, all kinds of other countries. And the way it works, every month, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library mails a high-quality, age-appropriate book to all registered children under the age of 5. And it's addressed to the child, and it's at no cost to the child's family, which I think is really important because it doesn't matter what that family's income is. It doesn't matter if they have the ability to travel to, say, the public library anywhere. Every child, doesn't matter, they have access to books. And let me have Miss Lisa explain why it's so important.
Babies, toddlers, and preschoolers need books in their hands and in their homes. A book sent to them every month is a book that they will cherish, and book ownership increases the opportunities for building a foundation for reading. Did you know that research has shown that it is more important to read the same book 50 times than 50 different books? Why should we fund the Dolly Parton Imagination Library? Because the #1 indicator of success in school is whether a child was read aloud to from birth. There are obstacles and barriers to accessing library materials for some and perhaps many people in our county. Currently, there are families that are having to decide between eating well and heating well, and $5 for a book may not be in the cards. Personally, I know of a boy who would visit the library longing for books to check out. He was browsing and wishing, but after all of my suggestive selling, he quietly told me that his mom would not let him check out books because they don't have a card and they don't know when they would be able to return to the library to return the books. If the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program had been in place, he would have had 60 books in his home by the age of 5. 1 book a month delivered to his door for 5 years.
So the way it works, and I have little tiny prints for everybody that I can pass out. A lot of people think Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is just free, that like Dolly's rich, she just pays for everything. But that's actually not quite how it goes. They do pay for a lot. They pay for the overhead and admin expenses. They provide the system that you use to get everyone registered. And I feel like they must subsidize the cost of the books to get the books down to $2 a book. That's like really inexpensive. But it really requires a local 501c3 partner to raise those funds locally to pay that roughly $260 per child. And something else that I learned in researching this is that through January 1st, 2029, the state of Virginia is matching half of those funds, which is pretty awesome. So in order to fund Dolly Parton Imagination Library throughout Tazewell County, the Tazewell County Public Library Foundation is looking for funding. We're approaching all of the towns and asked if they would consider sponsoring the kids in your area. And we've already gotten the town of Richlands committed to funding their entire service area, which I think is amazing. And so that's what we are here to ask y'all about, is to see if you would be willing to fund the Tazewell children. And the big question that you might be asking is, well, how much will this cost? So the second sheet that I passed out is a cost estimator. We'd be looking at a little over 400 total eligible population. Now, would we be able to get 100% of those people registered? Probably not. But if we can get to between 60 or 70%, that would be amazing. And you can see they kind of projected over 5 years to see, because you're not automatically going to start out with like 60% kids registered. So you can see they have us starting out at around $1,000 and working up to just under $8,000 over the course of 5 years. And remember, that's matched, so it's really $500, working all the way up to what, $3,500, $4,000.
So as town council members, you have the opportunity to make a critical decision to invest in your children and grandchildren, to invest in your neighbors' children, to invest in your community in a way that has the potential to feed and nourish young minds. The years between birth and age 5 are the years of the most expansive, almost explosive growth in the brain of a human being, a time which cannot be recaptured. If a child enters kindergarten without having been allowed to, without encountering books, that child walks through those doors 5 years behind on their very first day of school. It happens, and it happens here in Tazewell County. Selling parents on the idea of reading aloud to infants and toddlers and preschoolers is not really a hard sell. But selling parents on the idea that they should forego some groceries to buy a book is not a decision that they should have to make. So please consider investing in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Do y'all have any questions or comments?
Do they have a way of recycling the books? So,
That's a great question, one we were actually talking about today at the library. So we at the library do take donations, and we were talking about how, once kids are grown up and not using them anymore, they could donate them back to the library. They could be giveaways at library programs.
We've already been on the receiving end of some of the books that have been read and loved and then donated to the library, and then we find homes for them. It may end up at Head Start, it may end up in one of the dozen or so little free libraries throughout the county. We've talked about partnering with faith-based organizations where they could be establishing little libraries. And then other possibilities, people coming into town for visits, stopping at the Little Free Library, picking up a book. And generally, I believe, like if you have a family of 3 or 4 children, maybe you would have the Imagination Library for the first 3, possibly all 4, you're allowed to do that. But there would be perhaps a little bit of overlap in that time frame. So the answer is yes, we do have ways of continuing to share the books, and as they've been loved and read, getting them back out to the community if people share them with us.
Can I comment? I worked this program in North Carolina for 5 years. One of the ways that you can recycle books is a lot of times they get mailed out, families are transient, they move. Those books come back to the post office, you pick them up, and then you can give those out to people in need.
I've heard of that being done as well.
I think this is an amazing program. I know my sister-in-law was involved in getting one established in her town in Alberta, Canada.
Is something we could make a motion tonight?
For the state matching 50% of that, is there, so it expires in 2029, so that would just be for like, oh, okay, that would cover it 5-year time period.
And I don't know, like, if it's going to continue after that, that's just like, well, we have like guaranteed.
I'd like to make a motion that we agree to participate in the College Park and Imagination Library.
I second that motion.
I agree.
Dave Lurs.
All right, any discussion?
I think it's a great program, and literacy for our youth is worth moving some of our budget items around.
Yeah, what they're projecting, like 65%. They can be built into the budget.
Okay, any other discussion?
That would be awesome.
I'm just asking.
And if she doesn't, we'll still find something to sing for us.
Jolene?
Eric, do you all need a resolution of support from council, or is a vote sufficient?
I think a vote is sufficient. I do have a draft MOU that I can get to y'all. And
That's fine, we'll go from there. I guess it'd be just one where if you're supporting or wanting to support the program, would be agreeable to enter into the MOU. We need to look at it first to see what it says, but.
Right.
Okay, so I've got a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of supporting the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, stay so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, motion carries.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Eric. And Lisa, thanks for everything you guys do. So next on the agenda is a historic Crab Orchard Museum support request. Manager Regan?
We received a donation request from the Crab Orchard Museum in the amount of $6,500. The last time that we donated to them was 2019 in the amount of $6,500.
What's our,
We've got 19,000 left, so this was what, 35%, what was it? Of the remaining allocated budget towards community donation requests for the year. We got 6 months left, right?
And also, if you all are interested in doing this, maybe we could say in FY '26, we could support that, and we can work it in the budget. That's an option that you have as well if you want to do that.
could we split, could we do like half now and then half in 26?
I mean,
Would that be hard to,
They're going
harder
to,
to?
do a,
so they're going, I'm assuming they'll ask again
Yeah.
for the same amount next year.
probably. But
Do we know anything more about it? How do they get the funding?
yeah.
Is it a federal thing?
I don't know.
Is it county supported?
I think they're on donation.
I mean, they're a 501c3, so they're nonprofit, but I don't know, I'm sure it is on their website.
Hey, Leanne, what's the password for the Wi-Fi? The Bulldogs?
Yeah.
Password.
Password.
Is it
I like this.
singular or
It's all
plural?
right now. New ones.
It's what?
With an S.
With an S. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I would like to support the cause, but I don't know that I'd like to support it at $6,500.
I think that that is something that we could figure out and work into our budget, you know, on how to support them, because I do think that they're a big attraction in this area, and they offer a whole lot.
they do have a lot of kids programs.
They do have a ton of kids programs, you know, they're always having the field days over there. I know this year in particular, with the weather, their main fundraiser is the corn maze, and it was not as successful as they had hoped. I don't think it was as successful nearly as much as they had hoped because of the weather. So I know that they're in need of funding.
Their Christmas program's awesome too. So we've not made a donation in 5 years, and we made it for $6,500. I would be more likely if we budget $1,000 every year as a donation. That's more manageable to me. It's not a big hit all in 1 year, and we can plan around that better. And then I think that's a better way to do it myself. It can be more consistent for them.
I agree with that.
I don't know, I think you could go with half of 35, or split like that, that way next year do another 35.
So you're saying you would be open to planning for it, but just a higher dollar amount?
Yeah, it's, that 1,000 every year, I mean, just, I'd rather have 3,500 or 3,000.
Do you know,
Can they come talk to us so we can know more about how their funding is, like what missions they're pursuing?
I can reach out, and I don't think they would mind that at all.
Then maybe we could schedule them for January.
Sure.
As the county, y'all face the county or come to the county?
are you talking
That's
about the
library.
Imagination Library?
Yeah.
I don't think, you haven't talked to the county yet, have you, for the Imagination Library? But that's on your agenda.
The county just spent a ton of money on the building.
Yeah.
Donation want the kids to read.
Yes.
At home.
My next question is for the town of Woodville.
Yeah. I know you said you were going to all of the towns, and then hoping that you could get all of the government entities to pitch in.
That would be ideal.
So let's revert back to
Yeah.
the discussion at hand. So, Trevor, what you're going to do?
Maybe invite them to the next
Do we
meeting.
want to invite them? So Leanne, we're going to hold off on voting on anything today and have them meet with us next council meeting.
Will do.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, next is the Upper Tennessee River Roundtable Support Request. Manager Reagan?
We have received a donation request from the Upper Tennessee River Roundtable. They did not ask for a specific amount, and I cannot find where we have donated to them in the last 6 years.
I don't know that.
Do they have any
Well, they should.
information?
They have a newsletter for us, and it's talking about how they've done some stuff in Saltville. So it looks like they're not just strictly Tennessee.
I think they should be here to tell us, talk to us about it. I don't, I haven't, it's all about softball.
It does say something
Having
about
the North-
Madison County.
Dates to be determined in Tazewell and Russell County. For rainbow workshops.
They're collaborating with partners to be a string project in Tazewell County. 2025.
I would like to ask them to come as well to another meeting.
January?
January would be great, if they can explain how they expect the impact to them.
Yeah, where they expect the funds that were given to kind of help with the town. It does seem like more of a county type operation. All right, so moving right along, next local business recognition, we have none. So now I need a motion to approve the minutes for the council meeting on November 12th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approval of the council meeting minutes for November 12th, 2024, say so by saying aye. All opposed, say so by saying nay. All right, motion carries. Next, the approval of the financial statements and financial report for November 2024. Need a motion?
I'll motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approval of the financial statements and the financial report for November 2024, say so by saying aye. All opposed, say so by saying nay. All right, motion carries. Next is our committee and conference updates. Councilmember Davis is going to give us an update on the planning commission committee.
Sure. We actually did meet this past time. The first thing that we discussed was the solar project with Elliott Energy or Innovatus Solar, whichever one they're going by right now. But as of right now, there is a draft document that is going back and forth between the attorneys. You know, Brad said that he had talked with their counsel on that, and there were still some discussions going on over that. There was also, we talked about the Ramey lot. There is a plat that we need to put to record with council's approval. Is that correct? Council needs to approve it. The plat basically separates the back area that we had talked about, taking that from the IDA and switching, giving them the back cave property that is on Riverside Drive. It would separate those parcels, make those officially the separate. It also has a access road that would be put in there. So we need to vote on approving that plat. We also need to name a road that is on that plat, and the Planning Commission offered up 3 suggestions. Since this was where Public Works was going to be, and we thought that Public Works was pretty much the backbone of the town. They do all the work. One of the suggestions was Cornerstone, Foundation, and there was also a suggestion of Tuck Street, which, what was the individual's name that had worked with the town?
What was his first name?
I think Tuck was his
Davis.
last, Tuck Davis. Yeah.
Excuse me, I think that'd be the best thing to do for the employees that retired here in this town, and the fire department, and the police department. I think, you know, when time comes when they have to leave this world, at least they'll have their name on the sign. And I think that would be a great thing for Tuck to be on that, because I worked with this man, and this man had his arthritis so bad, his hands swelled up like a basketball, but he still came to work. His knees were, getting ready to bust, but he sticks with the town. And he can tell you where all the turnoffs are, and the valves, because I worked with him, and he showed me, he told me to take 5 steps left to the right and stop, and there's a cutoff on the pavement. And we dug it up, and there it was. So I think that should be good for the guys in the back, and the employees that retire from town of Tazewell should have their name on that sign?
Well, another thing that we talked about is working up a shipping container ordinance. Right now, our town doesn't have anything in the code that defines what a shipping container is and where they can be located, which zones they're permitted in, whether or not they can be permanent or temporary. And that's an issue that is coming up. So we're also talked about that. That's it.
You had said something about needing a vote, but the whole name, should that be on
Is
next
that-
month's agenda?
No, it's on here.
Oh, is it?
Item number H.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. Okay, any questions for Councilmember Davis? All right, so next, Kara Spider's going to give us an update on the IEDA.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Merry almost Christmas. At our most recent meeting here in December, the IEDA previously heard a request from the Morenas family about acquiring a small, very small plot that's attached to the mini park on Main Street. They approached us in October. I think they had previously approached you all, and you redirected them to us. We asked to think about it in October, and so we got back together in December, and we agreed, our board agreed to vote for the Morenases to purchase the small area of the mini park that they'll be able to park. It's best for their building. The agreed upon price right now is $2,000. Brad and their lawyer are working together on the deeds and easements, but our one stipulation is that the improvements that they mentioned making to the property would actually be made within a year. So that way, if the improvements are made within a year, then that plot would come back to us. Right?
That's the plan.
Did we talk about retaining the right to?
Yes,
park
yes,
town?
that is what
Okay.
the town, they're going, and we discussed at length about how, the Morenases are the current owners, but writing it in a way so that the town will be able to have access if necessary to work on our property, no matter who the owner is. Great question.
Because I know that the town, sometimes when there's things going on Main Street, they will park in that spot to handle things, not necessarily for the mini park, but just around in the whole area.
Yeah, yeah.
That they want to retain that.
But they were agreeable to the one-year term. Other things we discussed at our meeting were along the lines of same updates you just heard. The Ramey lot and the deeding and such. Leanne had a meeting with Thompson and Litton about our engineering drawings so that we can continue to keep moving our farmers market project forward. So that's great. And then I don't think we had anything else really of note this past month. We had just kind of discussions
There was a grant application
from us.
It's not pretty bad.
Oh, correct, yes, we were sorry. We received an EVAG request from Be Noodled. It didn't have a narrative attached about what kind of support they were looking for, so I think they're gonna come and join us at our January meeting and give a little presentation about kind of some needs that we could potentially partner with them on. Yeah, wrap it up. Thank you.
What do y'all have planned for the Ramey lot? What you can put in there, what do you think about putting in there?
We were, per our last discussion with you all, I think we're awaiting instruction on what you would like for the Ramey lot.
Yeah, there hasn't been a decision. I think one of the things we discussed was listing it for sale.
Yeah, we wanted to do that, and then it was my understanding when we all got together in August or September to kind of pause on that, and so we haven't, it's tabled, I guess, but the proper way
I'd
to
like to
say it.
see something out there like, I guess pickleball courts.
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting to watch.
You can put a lot of pickleball courts out there, Dave.
Yeah, good.
That's what I want. So they have tournaments out there.
Yeah, Dave, back here at that time, my position on that was that we're selling the wrong asset. So if we're trying to raise funds by selling an asset, that there are other assets that the town has that I'd recommend looking at first preferably being the ones that are outside of town limits, so that we can retain our property inside of town limits for development. Because that's where we're gonna see the most bang for the buck. So, and we have not, we were supposed to be having a work session in January, perhaps.
Because we were
Come out
talking
tomorrow.
about,
We're gonna do a poll tomorrow, and
Do we come to that too? The work session is happening.
work session's open. Yes, we can come. if you
Oh,
I
want.
mean, if you guys want to come.
or we can solidify what we're actually
Right.
aiming at. On the farmer's market, if I remember correctly, based on the previous conversation, it's February is the first time that
Yeah, it's
we're lining up
tobacco
to put in.
commission.
So aiming for the tobacco commission in February.
And I'm coming to meet with Susan, and we're gonna have regular, like 5 weekly, monthly meetings until we get all that off the ground. Oh, I forgot one thing. We hosted a training session at American Legion in November, with People's Inc. and Tazewell today. We had a couple of new potential entrepreneurs come and join. It felt like it was a good question and answer. Justin from People's Inc. is interested in returning, and our kind of takeaway was we were gonna talk to some of our partners at the farmers market that are vendors about potential pain points that they have as business owners, what potential trainings might be beneficial to them. And Justin mentioned that with the way that their funding works, that if he is not an expert in that matter, that People's Inc. would be able to bring in an expert to come and provide that training. So we talked about in the spring, maybe March, April sometime. So just a free training for potential business owners in the town. Cool.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our unfinished business section. Tazewell Cinemas and Entertainment LLC IRF grant. Manager Reagan?
So for the last few months, we've been in negotiation on an IRF agreement. There's been discussion over the terms of this agreement, such as the interest rates and repayment. So I received an email from DHCD that was dated on 12/5, asking if we had a resolve on this. And they said, quote, "We'd like to get this under contract as soon as possible. We just need clarity on those outstanding questions." So my question to you is, do we have an update that I can give to them? Do we wish to talk about it some more?
I think we should go ahead and move this up, because it's, we're letting something out there just stand by with completely gutted. They did everything to it. It's given to them. Now, we have to suck it up and take care of it, get this started, get the, not go with the 1.5% on the issue, perhaps the dealing. Now, that'd be up to, I hope the council can understand this issue, but we've got to get that thing built and put up and go to places where we can go.
So you're thinking 1.5%?
Yes?
So,
Okay.
in reference to the email back.
Yes.
I think everybody wants it to.
Oh, yeah, we all want to go. I think that, the pain point with most of us was that it had been always presented as a loan, and it was being asked to be more than that. So we were not willing to do away with the loan prospect or take it down to 0% interest, but we are willing to. I think the 1.5 is a good compromise.
So is it the 1.5 with the 2 years interest-only payment, and then 1.5 for the duration of the loan?
Sounds
2.5, I said 1.5.
1.5.
1.5. So what?
For 2 years, they would pay.
So in order for them to, you basically take the loan down to, they're using the full amount, what was it, approximately $500 a month for 2 years. So it allows them to have time to grow their revenue,
Right.
cover their costs, keeps us on the low end. It allows us to have a revolving loan program, this will be beneficial for the IDA in the future, to where we can did it at a grant, even at a 0%, the time value of money that would be lost.
Yeah.
And this is a repeatable process. I hope it's a repeatable process, that the town will not be on the hook for the funds. It's in line with the intent of the Department of Housing and Community Development, who's granting us the funds. And I hope it's acceptable to the business owner.
Did we ever find out what position we would be in on the one?
I do know there are other funders that are ahead of us, so I don't know what exact position we would be in, but I do know there are others ahead of us.
So there are already other deeds of trust on the property?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's just one. Is that correct?
I want to say LC and B was one of them, and maybe Tobacco Commission, is that, I'm thinking that's been talked about. I could be wrong on that one, so, but I think Tobacco Commission.
Okay.
So next steps would be for you to contact the business owner and see if those terms that were outlined in Zach's email.
Yes.
Do we need to have a motion?
I don't think so. We're just.
I think I just need direction
Yeah.
from you all.
Yeah.
I
Is
think
that
just
good? Do we
move
need a
forward.
motion?
I mean,
This is through a program through which is, it's not DHCD.
Yes, it is.
It's DHCD. Probably, I would think you go ahead and have a motion to have a record to do it.
Okay.
Make the motion since it's.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that protects the borrower as well.
Okay. All right, so make a motion.
I made the motion, go to proceed on.
Yeah, but you
But
need a term.
you gotta- yeah,
So
you gotta
the
be-
terms to it, so for the industrial revitalization, loan involving, let me get their name. Tazewell Settlements, we'll do a 2-year interest-only payment with a 1.5% interest rate for the duration of the loan. The loan's up to $399,000
That's
20
what,
years.
20-year term, I understand.
for a 20-year term.
Do I get a second?
Second.
I said, I've already said, I made the motion. See,
I just made a motion, he seconded it. and then
Any discussion?
who made,
He seconded.
okay.
It all works, Dave.
Yes.
It works.
Don't muddy the waters.
I think we all would like to see this project succeed. We all
Oh, absolutely.
are doing, we've made a lot of effort and concessions to this, and I think this is an acceptable term in which we can all benefit and create like Zach said, create a revolving loan that we can fund future business endeavors in the community.
Any other discussion? All in favor with moving forward with the motion that Zach made, so I don't have to repeat everything? Stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, Lynn, let us know as soon as you know something from the business owner. We'll go from there. So next, new business. Discuss vacancies 1 and reappointments 1 for the Board of Building Code of Appeals.
I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint George Linkus and appoint Don Ellswood to the Board of Building Code of Appeals.
Do we have to have, in these motions, Brad, do we need to have the term?
You got me.
It's a 3-year term.
Okay, so it'll be effective 1/1/25, commencing 12/31/2028.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor of appointing George Linkus and filling the vacancy with Don Ellswood?
There.
I'm sorry,
27,
Okay, so 27,
The 27 for,
the term.
the term commences
Okay.
27.
so all in favor of reappointing George Linkus and filling the vacancy with Mr. Don Ellswood, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, that one's done. So Next, discuss vacancies 1 and reappointments 4 for the Board of Zoning Appeals.
On the, go ahead. I'll make the motion on the Board of Zoning Appeals and see if Dan Willis, when she had to come off,
Danny wasn't on there, you're filling the vacancy.
well, Leon Oakland. Danny Willis there, yeah.
He was on the plan there.
That's right there.
Yeah.
That term would be,
Okay, my mistake.
The term would be,
ending in 2025.
All right, so all in favor of filling the vacancy or contacting Leon Oakland to see if he'll fill the vacancy in the Board of Zoning Appeals for the term ending 12/31/2025, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. Okay, so,
I'd also like to make a motion to reappoint Joe Bowen to a term starting 1/1/25, ending 12/31/26. I'd like to reappoint Daniel Ingram to a term starting 1/1/25 and ending 12/31/27. I'd like to reappoint William Weeks to a term starting 1/1/25 and ending 12/31/28. And I would like to reappoint Benny Moore to a term starting 1/1/25 and ending 12/31/29.
I'll second that.
all right, any discussion? All in favor of the reappointments, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right. We'll take care of that. Next, Historic Review Board. We have, let's see, discuss 1 reappointment for Historic Review Board.
I would like to reappoint Bethany Carnes for a term beginning 1/1/25 and ending 12/31/27.
Second.
All right, all in favor of reappointing Bethany Carnes, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, that motion carries. So next, discuss vacancies 1 and reappointment 1 for the IEDA.
So for the IEDA, we'd like to reappoint Miscellaneous for a term of 4 years. This would commence starting 1/1/25 and run through 12/31/28. Should I do them separately? Do them all at once?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd also like to appoint into a vacancy Mr. Scott Cole, and this term would be the same duration, 1/1/25 through 12/31/28. And Ms. Tammy Smith to the IEDA for a term 1/1/25 through 12/31/28.
Second.
All right, any discussion? So all in favor of the reappointment of Alicia Bells and filling the vacancies with Scott Cole and Tammy Smith, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, so hopefully they'll accept. So next, discuss reappointments 4 for Planning Commission.
So for the Planning Commission, we are going to reappoint all members, be Gabriella DeCoursey, and the term is 1/1/25 through 12/31/28. Mr. Larry Lutz, 1/1/25 through 12/31/28. Benny Moore, 1/1/25 through 12/31/28. And Mr. Richard Taylor, 1/1/25 through 12/31/28.
Make it a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of reappointing Gabrielle DeCoursey, Larry Lutz, Benny Moore, and Richard Taylor back on the Planning Commission, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, stay so by saying nay. Okay, motion carries. So next, YMCA Board Member appointment.
I'd like to nominate, or I'd like to appoint Councilmember Davis to be the YMCA Board Member for the town of Tazewell.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor of appointing Councilmember Davis as the town representative to the YMCA Board, stay so by saying aye. All opposed, say so by saying nay. All right, motion carries. So next is the senior citizen tax exemption, Councilmember Fox.
Just like it's a few months back. In our special call budget work session, March 26th, I stated I wanted to find a way to help our senior citizens, and I was concerned with the tax assessment increase and how that would affect them. We currently offer an elderly tax exemption for real estate. To qualify, a person must be 65 years old or older, and they cannot have a household income of more than $25,000. I would like to see us raise that income level to $35,000.
I have some additional information, if that's okay.
Please.
So the maximum current dollar amount for the exception or exemption is $132. We had 15 customers for our 2024 tax year that qualified for this exemption. The total cost to the town was $1,885.07. If we were to raise it, so the county has their level set at $40,000, and they provide us a list of everyone in town that meets their qualifications. There is 21 people on that list. That doesn't mean all 21 qualify with us.
Right.
However, if it does, it's $1,000 more. I mean, less than really. So you're looking at less than $3,000 to be able to offer this to
I
your
think it's a great idea.
Is there a motion?
I think you just made it.
Is this just for real estate? It's not any
Yes.
personal property?
Correct.
There's no relief for personal property tax?
Okay, if a customer has their vehicle and is on for personal use, they get what's called the PPTRA, Personal Property Tax Relief Act. And you get a percentage already taken off of your vehicle. If you use it for business use, you don't get that because you usually make it off on your federal income taxes. So technically, there's already an everything straight for that.
So we do have a motion out there through Dave's discussion.
I'll second
Okay. So, any additional discussions?
If the county already provides us with the number of people that meet their program, and we know, we kind of can use that as a guideline, and we can see what they give us as a budgetary item. Why wouldn't we just make it match their guidelines so that we can see exactly what it's going to affect us? I mean, let's
So you
there's
want to make it to
It-
40,000
it-
instead of
It's
35?
more lenient, it's more expensive to us, but it's easier, it's more clear as to what it potentially costs us.
Can't argue with that.
Can't argue with that, 40,000, good for me.
No.
Do you want to amend your motion?
Yeah, you need
Do
to
you want to
amend
amend your motion?
I'd like to amend my motion from 35,000 to 40,000.
So they fall in line with the county's,
Right, following line with the county's budget.
budget, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So the motion's been amended. I need a second.
Second?
Any additional discussion? All right, all in favor of following the county's current guidelines for the relief for senior citizens up to $40,000, say so by saying aye. All opposed, say so by saying nay. Okay. Dave, good job. And next, Raymond Lot plat review and street name recommendations from the planning commission. Amanda Reagan.
So as Councilmember Davis has stated, in your packet, you have a plat of the Raymond Lot. So we need to do a few things, that way Brad can then start his process with changing the deeds, switching everything over that we need. So one thing that we need to do is we need to, well, before I go any further, everyone does, we're all clear on which area we're talking about, correct? It's the one with the buildings still on it. So we need to accept the plat, and we need to name the street. That can be done in 2 separate motions, it can be done in 1 motion, however you would like to.
Let's do them separate.
That sounds great.
It would help me too in terms of doing separate, because what you're going to also approve is that this is going to be the piece of property that you're going to swap, exchange, I should say, with the IDA for the property located in North Tazewell.
1616 Riverside Drive.
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to accept the plat once Mr. Ribble makes the amendments to bring it up to date, since that's not named Baby Street anymore, it's English Street, since this original plat was approved back in 2017. Just the minor modifications to show exactly what it is now.
I'll second.
Any discussion? So, all in favor of accepting the plat, once Mr. Rubble makes the minor changes that Councilmember Davis discussed, they so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, they so by saying nay. All right, so motion carries. So next, on the name change, Leanne.
As Councilmember Davis said, we have 3 recommendations that have been brought to you by your planning commission. And Chris, you have to help me. Street, lanes, roads. We have tuck, cornerstone, and foundation. Or if you guys want to road and say, I want to name it,
We need a bigger shovel lane.
we name a bigger show lane.
I would say that'd be a lane or a street.
Lane or street.
I like to.
Do you want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to Tucker Lane. That's good for the
Would it be
employees.
tuck street or tuck lane?
Tuck lane.
Probably Lane.
Tuck lane.
Sounds better, I don't know why.
That sounds like a good dog.
All right, so I have,
Tuck is great for a name, but it can have some additional meanings now.
Tuck,
Yes,
tuck it away.
exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be straight up, you just say it. It ain't gonna hurt, everybody knows.
Yeah.
If you don't like, we're gonna.
So I would rather stick with Cornerstone or Foundation for the entire department.
Yeah, I saw someone said that sign would probably get vandalized a lot. Yeah, that's,
Just by 1 letter.
yep, we have one little line, yep.
Okay, great, Tuck Davis, just put Tuck Davis, George Davis, whatever. That'd be great.
I saw.
Cecil Lane.
That's why you got Cecil Lane, that's what we're gonna work on too. Cecil's got this sign coming up down here, and I want to put Cecil on it. See, each man, each employee that's worked in the entire year should have a name, because they work here.
We only have so many streets.
Yeah.
David, I'm going to say this.
Well, you have a,
It's a reason.
We can't rename every street in the town. But I do think you can honor all those folks because they are the foundation of this town. And
yeah.
the way that they work, they take care of our public works and our emergency services. I think by calling it Foundation Lane would be a good way to honor everyone and not necessarily single anyone out. And that way we don't have to worry about running out of streets to rename.
Where did Tuck live? Where did he live? Out there on Steele's Lane, off of Steele's Lane, right beside the garbage, where the dump is.
Recycling.
The recycling center.
What was his first name again?
Tuck was his first name.
Tuck Davis. Davis was his.
Yeah, George, I think it's George.
For your information, folks, we do have an ordinance in place in dealing with, in dealing with naming.
okay.
And technically, it really falls back on Chris.
Oh, fine.
So we would just make a recommendation.
Well, he do it now, what you're doing is fine, there's nothing wrong with what, I think
I
Chris
don't
wanted,
think everybody would put that
Chris
in
wanted input for
of
these
the dirty
purposes.
word.
But it's also one, but then, once you name this, then there's other provisions that can allow for these names to be changed. The reason, you look back in 17, we're looking at 15, when you were dealing with all the street renaming.
Yes.
So we adopted a very comprehensive street naming ordinance then, that had a few sort of gray areas about who could name later, or if somebody didn't like the name. If you may recall, we had several people coming to council, coming to planning commission saying, why did you name it this way? I want to do it that way. And then it can get very expensive, because then if you do change the name upon which there are many houses or businesses, you've got to have a public hearing. There's a cost involved with all that. It can get very expensive for the town every time somebody wants to change the street name. So, all that being said, for this one, it's not very difficult, because this particular name for this street is not going to affect anyone except IDA or town property.
Right.
So it's not a big issue. That's why, for one, Chris wanted the input. He said this would be good time and planning commission and council would come together to do it without incurring any type of later need for advertisement or expense. But that is not the case for any of the other times you do this, so just be aware of that. Understood, please.
And for the record, what's the street called where Richmond lives? You might know.
Which region?
It's just off Fairmont, it's the first left.
Fudge?
It used to be Fudge.
Blacksburg.
That street actually needs to be named. It might not be a town street, but it used to be Fudge Street, but it's cut to by four.
It's part of the old CA Fudge subdivision.
Yeah, but it needs a name, but there's two or three houses on that street. I mean, if you want to pursue Tuck down there, you could do that, or there's probably a couple other places in town where you use it too.
Well, as long as I can get, he's done a lot of work, and you wouldn't
Yeah.
believe the pain that he's been through. So many years, I want to give him, I tried to help him out on insurance too. He couldn't do nothing wrong. His hands as big as
I'm just going to back up for a second. We do have a motion on the table
You do.
for Tuck Street, so it's either get a second or
then you can keep moving.
So give me a second, let's do this, all right.
I mean, if the,
Breathe now, breathe. It's not hard to
if
do
the,
that.
we have a naming convention in place where it's up to Chris,
Well, I think he wants direction, so this is what we're doing.
he got it from all this squabbling.
Everybody's got some nasty minds, I'll tell you that.
Hey, it's going out into the public, it's gonna happen.
Well, it's gonna happen, you know, I don't, let them say what they want to say.
all right. We have a motion on the table. I'll give you like 5 seconds.
All right,
All right.
I'll make a motion.
Not carried.
Motion failed for a second, and you move on to, you want to do anything else?
So
Anybody make a motion?
on this, nobody did the motion.
I don't,
Okay, that's all right with me.
I want to leave it up to Chris, but I like foundation, like,
No pressure, Chris.
that's my, you want input, that's my input.
Can you use it last time?
So do
I'll
you
make
want
a
to make a motion to let
motion for
Chris
Foundation
choose their name for the?
I'll make a motion for a foundation lane at Chris's discretion.
I'll second that.
All right, wait a minute, hold on.
All right, now we're in discussion. We have a
We
second.
have discussion, motion in a second.
Discussion.
Yes.
We're missing a prime opportunity to throw a Facebook poll out. Name this street.
What was the
Talk about
ship
building
that got
around.
named?
Bodie McBoatface?
Yes, Bodie McBoatface. I don't think we need a Bodie McBoatface.
I mean, there's very few times, we deal with very serious stuff, right? And not fun decisions.
Name the street.
This could be an opportunity for us to build up the spirit of core of the whole town, allow them to compete
That's what
against each other for the name of a brand new street in town that the public works is going to.
Dave, would it appease you if I start the process for the street off of Fairmont to be Tuck Davis Lane, complete name instead of just Tuck Lane? And then
Yeah.
use corner or foundation out there,
Uh,
because it ain't in any place that he lived anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
You know, that'd be great. That's up there on Main Street.
Okay.
Out through there. That's
Because
where
that
it is.
street, that street's the name, the same as one of the streets over here, but I just can't pin down what it is. I know it's-
Maplewood, that's what you, Maple Street, Maplewood.
Well, it's off, it goes by the apartments back there off Fairmont, it's the first left where Richard
Yeah.
lives.
It's right here.
Yeah, okay.
What's the name of it?
There, it's a dotted line right there.
There's a green sign, because I remember it, but it's
Okay.
not a town street anymore. It will be a brown sign,
Yeah,
because the town don't, it's not, the town maintains it, but they're not required to maintain it.
And they don't get state funding to
Right,
reimburse.
they don't get state funding for that street, but we do take care of it.
well, I just, you know, that'd be great to me.
Okay.
Help that issue.
All right, so street naming has taken up more time than anything else. So, I've got a second for naming Foundation Lane.
Sure.
All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Uh,
All opposed, say so by saying
no.
No.
Okay, so it's not, Gary, Chris, you got your record.
It's 3-2.
nay. Okay, I was like, don't put me in the hot seat.
Do we have to have four?
No,
No.
it's just.
All right, so the motion carries. So Chris, Foundation Lane.
Foundation Lane, Brad, put that on the plat.
I don't know if that's gonna work for the old foundation.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be something that,
That's Fairmont.
All right, moving right along. Town manager updates.
So you just said street name is took up more time than challenge accepted.
Oh, geez. Should have kept my mouth shut.
I have lots of good things, I promise. Route 460 and wastewater treatment plant upgrade. So the town applied for a grant of $92,255 through Virginia Coalfield Water Development Fund, and we were awarded this grant. So that's in addition to what we'd already got. So go, oh yay, good job. So the next little bit that's in your council packet is no longer a problem, because at 5:36 today, we got an email that our parity review had been approved. So we've got the green light to move forward with Route 460 and move forward with wastewater treatment plant. So I promise, within 2 minutes, we had already notified our bidders, handed that to them, and said that, to say, hey guys, it just come through, you got the bid, we'll get all the details fixed. But we're good, so I'm very excited.
Still in-house labor,
Yes.
so wait, probably spring.
By the time we get to order everything, get the stuff here, and it's gonna be winter time, then we'll have to be scraping the roads, you know, probably wanna
So
get
maybe
that
wait till
figured out.
summer when school's out. So,
I don't know if Don wants to wait that long.
I think spring was the,
I think it was March or April.
yeah. That was the goal, if we got everything ready. Okay, so we now don't have to rebid that project back out. We can accept the bid. That's very good news, because it means our cost is not gonna go up. We will have to rebid the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. So we'll have to redo that, see where it lands.
But the
It'll
last
kick
time
apart.
we did that out was a long time ago, wasn't it?
yeah.
It was,
It was before
Pre-COVID.
me,
yeah,
so, yeah.
it was a while back.
But we'll throw it out there, cast our net, and see who bids on it and what the prices come in at. And we'll take it from there. All right.
On that wastewater treatment plant upgrade, I need a little guidance. Like, looking at our long outstanding debts, I don't think I quite understand why we're being called into parity. If, we just looked at our recent audit and our ability, like, we're doing this as a revenue bond, right? But we still have geo bond capability of like $20 million. why are they throwing us into this? And like, it's already, the glass has already been spilt, because now we've got to rebid it, the prices are gonna go up, we're gonna have to raise the sewer rates likely again,
I mean, they're already set to be raised for the next
next 3 years, right? But that was based on an old bid. So we're likely to be faced with that again.
I mean,
Could
it's
you help me
very.
understand the old loan, why were we being called into parity a little bit better?
So my understanding is anytime that we have a loan or a bond or anything like that coming out, because we have a USDA Rural Development loan, and it's like a 40-year loan
It's
from
old.
2003.
Yeah.
But anytime that we do a new project like this, we're supposed to let them know. And my understanding was this parity review was supposed to happen like pre-COVID, and it didn't happen because everything got put on hold. That's my knowledge of it.
Yeah.
And that's why they threw it into parity, because rural development said, hey, wait, you have a loan with us. We want to make sure we're getting paid before anybody else does. And that's my knowledge of that.
I want them to understand the repercussions for what they're doing to us by doing this, because now we're gonna be in a position where this is, what was it, 7 million, we were responsible for half, right? That's our 60-40 split with the county, right?
Yes.
But for us to have the capability of taking on so much debt, even if we said we were gonna guarantee it through GO bonds, like, we have that power, now we've lost that bid, we're gonna have to raise taxes again. This price is gonna be way more expensive. On this one, this would be something that I think we should elevate this concern. I don't know, higher officials, who you go to, pick your person. But to me, this is a very big issue because it's gonna cost us. We're gonna have to raise taxes again. And it was in my opinion, my limited knowledge on it, it appears to me that this was an unnecessary red tape from the government that's now gonna cost our local taxpayers. And to me, this one's a big deal. But I don't know who we can complain up the chain to, but I would like to see that happen. Because, yeah, take a pocket, no. But,
Sounds like you need to go to Richmond.
yeah, take it.
He didn't say that.
But, yeah, I'll be curious to see, when do we think that we're gonna be rebidding?
I probably wouldn't expect it spring till next year to rebid.
Spring of next year?
2025.
2025.
Is that
Okay. And then the other thing with our rescue money, it's one thing we may consider in this work session, is killing that old debt. Because I calculated the interest on it at one point, but I forgot it. But this loan has been around for a long time. It's a water line, the water line loan, like 20 years or something like that. It's crazy old.
21 years.
Yeah. We may consider killing that to avoid stuff like this in the future, because we are going to be taking on another revenue.
Is there any reason we have that non-repayment of that outstanding loan, or any particular advantage that was why? Yeah.
Now what?
Why it was not being paid off any sooner?
It's kind of on autopilot, like they give us their amortization schedule, we pay what they tell us, and they automatically deduct it, and that's just what we had budgeted.
Who's the one on it?
USDA Rural Development. That's the one that called for parity.
And was there a provision that prevented early or prepayment penalty? Gee, I'm just asking.
I don't have that information. We can definitely look into it and see if there is any penalty for paying it early. Any other question on that project? All right, one down, 17 to go.
You're gonna win.
Lead and copper. This was a nationwide mandated requirement from the EPA. we were to do a lead service line inventory project where we needed to record the type of line on both sides of the meters. So we sent out customer surveys, and a lot of them did send back in. They had done what we call self-identify, and the ones that did not, town employees went out and dug little holes and looked at the lines and said what was in the lines. So we had to have this done by October 16th. We did complete and submit our data on time. Throughout this project, we learned of a grant opportunity of $250,000. And that was to repay us for air labor, for any equipment used. I did ask if we could get reimbursed for shovel usage. They just kind of laughed.
Never hurts to try.
But your gas, your trucks, your that expensive, if you had any like backhoes or bobcats, that kind of thing. So we did get awarded $250,000. So that will be a great shove in your water fund. Okay, any questions on that? I'm just going to roll, and if you guys have questions, just stop, okay? North Tazewell revitalization. The town was awarded a $50,000 planning grant for the North Tazewell community. The bid for the engineering services was awarded to Hill Studio, and we've decided to concentrate our efforts around like the train depot, Repass Barbershop, Clinch Valley Community Action, the post office, and down to the Farm Bureau Mill on December 17th and December 18th. So this is an invitation to you all as well. Hill Studio will be set up at the train station, and it's kind of going to be like community appointments for anyone that's in that area that would like to come and talk to them and maybe apply for a facade grant. Is that, am I telling right? Okay. And we've sent letters out to all the businesses and all the property owners that are in that area to kind of make sure that they know that this is coming up. Farmers market. So Kara talked just a little bit about this, and I have even an update that Kara don't know because it just happened today. So the farmers market, we had a meeting on December the 3rd with Thompson and Litton. You know, we had procured them as our engineers, so we approached them and said, hey guys, we need some engineer drawings for this project. We have grants coming up in February. There's the Tobacco Commission and a T-Mobile grant that we want to apply for. But we're ready, we just weren't as ready as we thought. So Pam with Thompson and Litton called me today and said, hey, I talked to Sarah Williams with the Tobacco Commission and said, what exactly do you guys need for them to apply? So they need a PAR, preliminary architectural report, and it's going to kind of give out all the details, and it's going to give a cost analysis. And that will get us their grant submission. So they will be able to have that ready for us before the grant's ready to be submitted. EMS Congressional Directed Spending. All right, so on December the 3rd at that meeting with Thompson and Litton, while we had them there, we talked about this one too. And we said, okay, we have some funds that have been set aside, and the town has matched, not 100% matched, but the town's matched some of those funds with dollars, and we want to know how to best use our dollars. What can we get for this lump sum? What can we make out of it? And I have been approached by a property owner that is out four-way area and said, hey, would you all be interested in purchasing my piece of property for your EMS building? And it just happens to be right beside our police department. So I said, well, I don't know. So we did ask Thompson and Litton, can we look at from the ground up and then take what we've got and then
Kind of
look at
refurbish, or which is
right.
cheaper?
Which way is there a better way? And also something that was found throughout our meetings, Chris let us know if you improve more than 50% of your building, you have to bring it up to today's building codes. So this is why I went, oh man, maybe we need to just get a quote, what would it cost?
And I do have an email from Shane from Senator Warner's office. I have to go back and look, but I'm 98% positive he said that the USDA group that's handling the funds to us did say that it didn't have to be utilized on the structure that's already there. It could be utilized on new construction, but let me find that email because, I mean, that's almost $400,000.
So we're trying to spend the money wisely and get the best bang for the buck, okay? Police department relocation. So I'm gonna tag team. So our police department's in the final stage of its relocation, and a date will be set soon for our open house. Maybe January, maybe February.
It's going to be more the end of the February, last Thursday or last Tuesday. They told us 10 weeks on our signage. So we're lagging a little behind on that. And I'd like to have our signage before we do our grand opening because that's going to be part of our background of our grand opening.
I got your application and design drawing for
For what?
the signage.
Signage.
So, just to go back to the last one, I did find the email.
Okay.
And Shane came back and said the response from, who was it, Rural Development or whomever? The project would remain eligible as long as it stays within the eligible geographic area. So if the town of Tazewell is eligible, then a new location within the town would be eligible. A new environmental report would be required for the new site. So I'm going to forward this to you.
Thank you.
You have the historical information. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so police department relocation. Amanda Killen did submit a REAP, which is Rural Energy for America grant application on September the 30th, 2024. This request is for $500,000 of energy efficient upgrades. No grant recipients have been announced at this time. And just recently, like over the weekend, we were discussing another possible grant for some.
And I did
Energy
hear back
efficient.
from her today, and we're not going to be eligible because it's for farming and small businesses. But she did say in the same text that there is something else that she's looking at. She didn't say what.
So would farmer's market fall under farming?
Responsibility there.
Before I go on record of saying that, let me double check, but I'm positive that's what she put in her text.
Gotta get this farmer's market.
You are not eligible to apply because I think it's limited to small business and farming producers.
Well, farmer's market.
It
business
sells
produce.
produce.
I mean, they're producers.
They talked about, is this for signs?
No,
This
this
is
is
solar.
for solar.
We can have some tomatoes over there.
Okay, so TBD on solar. So, Chief, do you have anything you would like to add on police department relocation?
No, I mean, we're almost there. We're actually operating out of it. Tomorrow, our Wi-Fi is going to be installed, I understand. We have like 3 doors to get put up in the workroom and just a few minor things. But we're operating. The public is loving it. Every time someone from the public comes in, we go to the grand tour. We're as happy as they are. We've had no negative feedback. Actually, we've had some community members that stepped up and has done little small things for us. And we're going to announce all that when we do our grand opening. But
Excellent.
it's been awesome. And the morale of our department has changed dramatically.
Good.
And everybody has a computer workstation.
And
Yeah,
yes,
nice.
and that's going to be announced too, the grand opening, but we did get a foundation that give us money for every officer to have a computer. So every officer has either an office or they have their own workstation. So they went from 3 computers to having their own, 3 computers for the entire department.
Good there. What about you got the communication already set up out there?
Right now, we're operating just strictly off of
County.
portable. What do you mean by communication?
Somebody calls in on a complaint, it goes to the county seat, or?
No,
It's all right there
it's- Yes, we have actually an updated phone system. We have voicemail that's been integrated into it, and then you can have some selections for certain things, small departments, small things. But no, we're still taking the 2503 number. Now, at lunchtime, I think it does switch over to, it goes into 911, and then after closing time, at 12 over automatically, it goes into 911. So if anybody ever calls the 2503, one way or the other, they're going to get a live person. Or have the opportunity to get a live person. Let me put it that way. They immediately don't get them unless it's after business hours, and then it goes directly to a live person. But they have an option that they can, either the administration or investigations or animal control or whatever.
Deed transfer, IEDA and Town of Tazewell. So we've kind of already discussed this tonight, unless you guys need me to go back over it. We are going to get Jim Ribble of Alpha Land Surveys to update that plat and put the street names on there, and then Mr. Pike will be able to begin his part. Sorry. Warthog Park. Thompson Charitable Foundation just released last week to us our grant funds of $37,980 to the town for Warhawk Community Park project. These funds are stipulated by the grant received by each one to install a basketball/pickleball court, okay, picnic shelter with bathrooms, and Clutch Valley Community Action received a grant of $76,000, and that's going to be going toward playground equipment. I think if you guys drive by there, you see bunches of bags and stuff. I believe that's their mulch that they are going to be putting in their playground. Also, First Baptist Church has offered to donate the adjacent lot, and we were going to use that for parking lot for the Warhawk Park. So as soon as the ground breaks over there, they're ready to do the deed, and Mr. Bott will be able to do that also.
Has there been any progress on that since they came, or since we talked about that last?
Progress on?
Like the actual deed, like, because
No, I've got still in my notes, it's pending because they're waiting to see
Ground break.
some scratching of dirt that's actually gonna happen before they're gonna do their conveyance. And what you all agreed to is that I'll do the legal work to get the deed taken care of, so that won't be that big of a deal. But they've not come to me yet with anything specific because they're waiting to see.
I mean, you said like with older churches like that, that can take a long time to get all that in order. I just didn't know.
It would just be for the church trustees, and from what I gather from that, what little work I've done is to see. I think their trustees are in order. They've got the necessary order appointments, and the folks are all living, so they can do a deed in fairly short order with a petition in order from the court. So that road doesn't look too bad. Well, I thought it might, but no, they're very, let's say trusting, but want verification.
Understand.
They're approaching, so very cautious.
And so now that we have got our funds released, we can go ahead and start buying the materials and getting things done that way. And then we can do deed of donation. Okay. Recreational planning grant. So there has been some discussion about Arrowhead Shire Park and expanding the recreation offerings that we have here in our town. So Susan was great enough that she applied for a grant for us. It's a planning grant that would help us be able to develop a plan that we can grow in our outdoor recreation. And I mean, this is very, very early stages. We don't know yet if we will get picked, but hopefully there's some good outcome to that. And it's not supposed to be awarded until the spring of 2025. So, our solar project, Councilmember Davis talked about it just a little bit. So there was a meeting between Chris and Attorney Pyatt and myself on December the 4th with Jeff Gore, who was hired as legal counsel for the town. he has experience with the legalities on the solar industries, and he has assisted us with reviewing like the development and the proposal from Elliott Energy. We've reviewed the pros and the cons of the revenue sharing versus machine and tools tax, and we believe that revenue sharing would be the preferred method because we do believe that over time, revenue sharing is going to go up. And if you have machine and tools and depreciation, it is going to go down. So we believe that the revenue sharing is the most beneficial way for the town to move forward in that. We probably will not have another update until January from Mr. Boyd. So to be continued on that also. The IRF loan, we discussed it tonight. We have got our P's and Q's and we'll try to move forward with that. So unless you guys have anything else, just going to go on. The Lincolnshire Dam. So the town of Tazewell team met with Matt Whitaker of Marshall Miller, and it was time to redo the inspection of the dam. And he has done that for us. It has to be inspected every 2 years. We received a satisfactory result, so that will be taken care of for 2 years. VDOT LAP qualification. VDOT requires all localities to have locally administered project managers. So the public work director and Susan and myself are going to learn how to administer VDOT projects.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Please,
How long is this course?
it's
There's
2
2
hours.
courses that we have to take. There's a preliminary course, which is just videos and quizzes. And then the second course is more videos and quizzes, and then an in-person class and exam.
so the prerequisites, it's not bad, but much appreciated.
On your free time?
Yeah, and all my free time. But that will take place in February. So FEMA and Hurricane Helene. We had a meeting with FEMA yesterday that was actually very productive. I'm very hopeful. They have been, honestly, I think they've been great with communication, and I've heard more from FEMA than I have ever. So we've been gathering our calls that we responded to, the work performed as a result from Hurricane Helene. A cost analysis is ongoing, and Jessica, our treasurer, met with them yesterday after our meeting. We kind of used our VDOT highway reports because we already tracked that information. So we tweaked it and used FEMA reports, and that went well. I think they were very impressed that she already kind of had what they needed. So maybe we're just one step ahead of the game. So the fire department grant for swift water rescue. I told John right before our meeting, I did just get an email today. We did apply for $30,000 for swift water rescue equipment. However, we were not chosen for that grant. So that's okay. We'll keep trying. We'll find us another grant and we'll apply. And finally, the Sunnyside Project, also known as the Traveler. So Susan is currently in the process of closing out this project. She's preparing letters and documentation to show that the work's complete. All funds have been dispersed, certificates of occupants have been issued, and Cumberland Plateau Planning District will be getting this information so we can plan our next step, which is going to be a grand opening for the Traveler. So we're going to work with getting that done. Probably need to do it in the spring, we've learned. There's going to be several different funding agencies and state organizations, so probably need to have an outside type meeting for that. And, you know, maybe not everybody wants to do it in January or February. But that's all I have, unless you all have anything for me. I can keep going.
You want more? It's really helpful.
Yes, yeah, thank you. We do appreciate these updates. All right, so I didn't see anything under miscellaneous. Or did I miss something under?
No, I just got it yesterday.
Oh.
So we do have one more donation request. As I said, I got this yesterday. It is from Jennifer Bourne with Clinch Valley Community Action. They have a program where they assist people that may have been like,
Domestic abuse.
yes, I was trying to think of a good way to word it, but they do assist folks that are going through hard times and that type of thing. So they have asked if we would be a part of the Big Give. It's an opportunity to donate and make a difference in your community. They say you can donate $25, $50, $100 or more. They do ask that we make a donation by December 31st. Their goal is to raise $5,000 by the end of the Big Give campaign.
They asked for this in the past?
I think it's a new campaign thing that's starting up.
I didn't see where we had done anything, but it could have been something else. I didn't see Clinch Valley Community Action that we did.
But the entities that I checked the mail for, we also have those. Yeah.
So are we moving, tabling, not doing anything?
Well, they said, what was the date?
December 31st.
They would like to have donations received by December 31st. Their goal is to raise $5,000. Now, they didn't ask for $5,000.
10%
I'll make a motion to get 250.
How much?
250. I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor for approving $250 to the Clinch Valley Community Action, please say by saying aye. All opposed, say so by saying nay. All right, we got a ton of people signed in.
No, sir, but I do have one thing. We are doing our shop with me, there is no one on here, but I will sign in if you want me to. We're having our shop with a hero. We changed it from shop with cop. We have invited fire department, which is coming. We've invited EMS, which did participate last year anyways. And we have some that I know is possibly coming from the street department as well. I did talk to the guys in the water department this week, or the end of last week, I forgot. Anyways, it's open for anyone. We shop with the hero is, I think shop with the cop is sort of wore out a little bit. So I decided, since we're working great together in the town, to change it. And we've almost met our goal to be able to do 250 kids, or I'm sorry, 40 kids at $250 a piece. I'm lacking just a little bit, and I've been working the phones today. And
What's the date on that again?
it'll be this Saturday. We're feeding them at the Subway at Clickwell Hill, Walmart at 7. We're not, Walmart is, but we're using Subway. And then we're going to do shopping starting at 7:30. Iron Titans has been a big component in this and have been for years. And they did make a good donation. But we invite each and every one of you to come, anyone in this room that wants to come.
That's not 7 a.m., that's
That is.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Well, Walmart wants us to get there before they start getting busy, and it is chaotic, very chaotic. It's a lot of fun.
And it's the
Clickwell
Claypool
Hill,
Hill.
yes, ma'am. So if y'all know anybody that wants to give a few dollars, I'm not asking from y'all, but if y'all know anybody in the community, we're trying to close it out by tomorrow evening. And we've done fairly well, but we're trying to close out tomorrow evening. Jonathan, our big donor that helped last year, that you directed, I can't get him to respond to me, and I don't know why, because he was really one, and I sent email after email. I don't know if you've got it.
Next week is like, I forgot who it was.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Okay, Leah, I'll give you one more.
I did have one more thing, I'm sorry. So in your packet, there is a little flyer for A Night to Shine. Does anyone know what this is?
Yes.
So it's done through the Tim Tebow organization. It's a prom for special needs kids, and so it's a very great cause. They're not asking for any money or anything. They actually said, we need volunteers to help more than anything. It's going to be held at the YMCA on February the 7th. So if anybody would like to go and you can volunteer your time, they did ask me could they use the rain slot for parking. So, okay, good. Because I already told them yes. Thanks, Kara. But it does seem like a very good,
They did it last year. We had a couple officers that participated in it. They had, those officers really had a great time.
and Cindy is going to provide an EMS crew up there for them. So if you guys would like to give back, that's a great
You
opportunity.
said the 7th.
February 7th, 2025.
All right, councilmember comments.
Yes. I have one.
Go, go, go.
The parade, I had a complaint in reference to, not the parade itself.
Okay.
Yeah, did a great job.
Thank you.
But it's reference to the parking on Main Street. Back in the 70s, and the 60s, 70s, on the corner, right? Back in that time, there were cars lined up on the street. And what this complaint was telling me, said, you know, if they want to go and have a dinner or something in the restaurants that are on Main Street now, and they want to have something to go eat and, 2 hours and, get back and watch the parade. So I'm just asking if something could be done in reference to that issue. I know it's dangerous, but back then, the parents should be responsible to keep their kids off the road when the parade is going down Main Street.
I think for safety, no street or no cars parked on Main Street because it's a town event. If a kid runs out there, the town's pretty responsible or could be held liable.
Well, they've been doing this way back in big parades. They're huge back then. I mean,
I think
vans.
people are a little bit more litigious now.
Exactly. This isn't the 70s where he rode in the back of the pickup truck. This is-
Okay, I'm just saying, I just passed the word to y'all, and it's just, I just want to get that over with. And,
I see that being, and also for the vehicles pulling out, like, so you got the kids hopping
Oh,
back and
kids.
forth behind cars,
I can see what you're saying. I can
There,
see what
but-
everybody's saying.
but also with like pulling out, like,
Well, they have to wait until the parade's completely through and
so how
clear.
does our law enforcement stop that from occurring during the middle of a parade when they're strung, at the
Well,
other
they've
end?
been, I've been on law enforcement, you've got to be on the side of the road walking, watching, tell everybody, you've got to see that.
Park on the back street and walk it up.
Right.
Yeah, there's other parking available for the restaurants when we shut the street down for a parade.
But see, the issue was that they like to, park on Main Street. And then the parade itself, you told me you was in the middle of the road all the way up, right?
We were. Because
But
my
there was
driver's
some
sitting right
on-
there.
They was driving on the right side, like, cars can come by them. I mean, they need to take the whole road, right through the middle, not just on one side going up, because they was trying to throw candy and they wouldn't make it over to the side. But like I'm saying, that's the way it used to be, and I wish they could get some film on that to see if Mr. Hughes had that video of this issue of Main Street. And I mean, there's a lot of people that was there waiting to wave and all that stuff. But the candy was issued by the clowns or what have you. It had Santa Claus helpers that goes down the side of vehicles and just toss candy over to the kids. But they need to keep on, we need to verify the city sales tax.
But, so you're advocating for, you're saying that folks should be able to park along Main Street during parades?
Yeah, that's how it was back then. If I get that film and show you, you wouldn't believe how it was packed.
Okay.
But they walk beside the floats and stuff and hand out candy, and instead of throwing it, it just making a mess on the roads. But I can understand, at least I'm gonna tell you that I made that approach and made that comment and just get shut down. Back doors.
How long have we closed the street down that you know of?
2012.
Have you ever watched a Macy's or a Rose Parade or any ones that are big ones?
No,
They
yeah.
have cars on the side.
Well, hell, if that's true, yeah, I can see that point. Damn, Macy's, you
What do
gotta
we
be on
look at
the
on
I'm
this?
just saying.
It's just like I'm saying, it's a small town, and I understand what, home for him now, and I, you know you had it, he talked to you
Well, he
too.
talked to me, and I told him the same thing. It's asinine, so he came to you.
Well, and we had also, I know that some individuals had talked about having an event and not closing the streets down and having an artist at Altizer Stage, and that was also shut down because people can't just go out in the street. So, I mean, I completely
Well,
understand
The
it.
town has to look out for liability, and if it's a town event
Well,
or a
I understand.
town-sponsored event, if anything happens to anyone,
I understand what you're saying, I understand, but back then, it was cars parked on the side of the road watching the
Yep.
parade come through.
back then, kids smoked
Back then, you
13
could
kids.
feed kids too.
Liability, progress, and safety concerns are all off the roof.
I'll make the motion to,
Okay,
I was
wait,
gonna make a-
you're gonna
Yeah,
make a.
we're still on council member
We're
comments.
still council member comments, Dave.
what?
We're still in council member comments.
You have not been.
Yeah, we haven't.
Leave yet.
But I was gonna say, this is,
Continue, Joe.
this has been a good meeting to point out the fact that we have town workers, EMS, and emergency services all getting recognized. We appoint all these folks that give their time and their effort to this town. The workers, the folks, you know, elected officials, the appointed people that put time and effort in this town. And it's just good to recognize all the folks that give their heart, give their time, give their effort into making Tazewell a better place. And I appreciate everyone for that.
Use the word synergy.
Synergy, that,
Your HR worker.
perfect.
I would like to say I want to help everybody that was involved with the events over the weekend. The public works guys were amazing, right on the spot, getting everything ready. We had police presence the entire time. And all of the firemen that we had in the parade, it was just, I thought that it was amazing. And I would like to commend everybody.
I'd like to commend the fire department, don't say asinine either. Commend the fire department, police department, y'all doing a great job. And the town crews are out there when the weather's cold. I'd like to, if I ever see them on the road digging or something, I'm gonna probably go down and ask them if they want something to drink, hot to drink, or, you know, 'cause it gets cold out there. But that's what I want to say. I'd like to say y'all doing a great job.
Everybody remember, you are very much invited to our Christmas dinner, Friday, VIP room, 6:30. There will be shrimp.
What?
I'll be out of town.
There will be shrimp.
There'd be something happen from there.
Second.
All in favor of adjourn, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say so by saying